finish recording an episode of a YouTube video or if it's a podcast, how long does everything else take? Show notes, descriptions, timestamps, maybe you want to turn it into a blog as well, the promotional emails, the social media content. If the answer is hours, then this video might hurt a little bit, but in a good way. I'm Jenny Stevens, and this is the final video out of the 7 that I've done, all about the AI content operating system. So make sure you check the rest of the videos in the playlist when you finish this one. But today I am going to be showing you what I've automated for everything that happens after you hit stop recording. And I've used this process when I did a weekly video podcast, also when I stopped the videos and I was just focusing on blogs. It's a very interchangeable system, so I'm really excited to show you the things that you can take off your plate or even take off having to pay somebody else to do it for you. Now, before I flip you around and share my screen, I just want to kind of caveat that obviously this kind of process is going to be a very nuanced thing to you and your workflow and your business. This is where things are going to be a lot more custom, but this is all about kind of helping you to see what things you can automate, what things you don't need to be doing manually, even in your AI tools anymore. And if you're doing that regular process, even with AI, that's your sign that having a more automated system is going to help you out. So I want to kind of start off with a bit of a sort of backstory with how I sort of came about to create the sort of YouTube and podcast and blog sort of system within my content hub in the first place, right? And actually, it basically kind of started mostly from this actually, in terms of the automated stuff with AI. It started with me doing a show. So back in 2021, I launched a new video podcast. It started as a Facebook Live that I did every week, and I did it live just to kind of help myself stay accountable and get it done. It was a non-negotiable for me. And part of that process was I would turn it into a blog post because I'm all about long content, long living content, should I say, not just long, but having content that lasts for years because, you know, I've got loads of blog posts and they bring me traffic every single month. And so I love taking good content and having it on long living things like YouTube, blog, podcast, etc. So anyway, so this show basically started out where I did it live and then I would turn it into a blog post and then this was basically my process, right? So I had sort of description for the Facebook post, I had my video opener, I had my sort of bullet points just for me to talk about. Then I had tags, you know, when that was a thing. Then when I obviously would convert it into a blog post, I then had the blog post link, and then here's all the things that I used to have uploaded to IGTV, and that's not even a thing anymore. Shared stories, have I edited it? Have I uploaded it? Have I created all these yes. Like this was my task list. It was quite funny to look back at now. Then I had kind of the repurposing side of things. So I turned it into a blog post. Then I would create maybe 2 or 3 carousels out of that post. And then I created pins for Pinterest to the blog. And then eventually I then turned it into a podcast. I stripped out the audio, added my little intro to my clip and added it into a podcast. So it was a kind of fairly straightforward and pretty systemized process that I went through every single week. And then I knew that like if I could easily come in here and I could sort of plan out topics and I knew where to come for everything. But once I then discovered Airtable, I wanted to then convert that over to Airtable. So then I basically moved that spreadsheet over here, okay? So this sort of data view is very spreadsheet-like. So it helped me to not only take the process in terms of status and have the things that I wanted, I could then add onto it with everything that I then learned about, you know, how we can use Airtable. So I added extra things like the Google folder link, and I connect it to ClickUp. So actually I do the actual task stuff, most of it in ClickUp. So I even created an automation where as soon as I said in ClickUp that I was now going to do this, it would automatically update my Airtable here. I would automatically have the Google Drive folder with my subfolders in it for each episode, because in every single one I had like the original video file, right? The final video file, the promo, the pins, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I had a folder structure. So I had that get automated. And then as I went on, because I was then creating my content and storing it all in my sort of core main content, I liked the fact that I could link together my promotional or repurposing content, taking little sections of my episode and sort of connect it back to that blog post so I could see these are the posts for that. And it's evolved a lot over the years. I then started doing a bit more SEO stuff. So I got keywords and I built an awesome automation for a client who was an SEO kind of expert, and she was creating blogs for an agency every single week. And so I sort of took inspiration from her process where she would have a blog drafted with keywords. So I basically connected it with my YouTube episodes. So there's so much in here, and obviously this looks a lot. There's a lot of columns in here because when the reality is there's a lot to creating a regular podcast, YouTube channel, or a blog. If you're doing it regularly, there's lots of things that go with it. So I kind of have a place for everything to live. And that's the kind of the first of the organization part. It's making sure that everything lives in here. Then how I then took it up a level was then utilizing automation with AI to help me then do. So once I obviously do the recording, I can then click buttons or things happen automatically afterwards. So first off, I've kind of got views so I can see obviously everything, all my episodes. Then I can see stuff that's in production. I've now got a new tab. I don't do that show anymore, so I'm now just kind of focusing on YouTube. So this is my new one. So you can see here, like, here's my series. Things are labeled. I've got my Google folder link. So now what I can do, and what I will do with this is, and I've created also a nice simpler view for me. So rather than having everything here, when I'm in the mode of like I've finished recording, so what I've been doing this last couple of weeks is I've been living in this new view where I created a YouTube production view, and I have this kind of view. So let me just open this up just to show you and say this is just an example, and well, this is mine, this is my live stuff, but yours may not be exactly like this. You could choose what you see, how you see it, depending on how your brain works and how you like to do it. So for example, I can see the ones, so actually I've done this, I'm now in recording process, so I can do that. So you can see I've linked it to my offer, I've got my publish date, I've got my opener. I'm just kind of doing this more on the fly rather than having an outline. For some of the other ones I had more of an outline for me. And I got AI to write me some titles for this video. I've got a link to my Google Drive so I can do things. So basically the clever part is once I finish my video and I've downloaded, so I have to still do the editing, and I'm a one-man band. I don't have any team. I don't outsource things. I've done a bit of outsourcing the editing of videos occasionally. With this current tool that I'm using, it's great. I'm really enjoying it. So I'll do a separate video on the new tool that I've just started using because I really like it, and I'm probably going to ditch Loom to use this instead. But basically, what I now do is once I've downloaded that video, I strip the audio out of it, which is like 2 clicks and it's done. Then I will manually upload that in here. So from my download, I just go drag, drop, upload. Then what happens is I can manually hit create a transcript. And something that I now do is I create these kind of manual buttons that still automates things first. But then once I know and I'm happy with everything, so yesterday I literally created another automation that will recognize as soon as an audio file is there, it's going to automatically create the transcript. So I don't have to manually click that button anymore. But the option is there both ways, right? So basically I can click transcribe and it's going to transcribe it, and then the automation is going to put the transcript back into and connect it to this file, but I don't need to see it in this view, and then it's going to automatically tick my little checkbox to say yes, this is transcribed. And then when I'm basically ready, I can then also click this button to say generate the show notes. So obviously for a podcast, you've got show notes. I've got one, so sort of got slightly different setups for a podcast and YouTube description, but this is essentially my YouTube description. So you can then click that and it's then going to write it. So if I come down to one of my other ones, you'll see here's my audio file of that episode. I clicked that and this did it automatically. Then I hit the generate show notes, and this was then the YouTube description that it created. I tweaked it a tiny little bit, and then I added in my kind of default footer and the bottom, but I basically copy and paste. The next piece I'm going to do, I'm still doing this manually in AI, is the tags, but I'm now going to turn that into an automated process to actually do the research and come up with the tags. Then I put the YouTube link in here, and then I've got my thumbnail, and again, everything's very accessible. And that's what having a system is about. Rather than me having to go into my Canva, go and find that file that I've just done, it's part of my process now that once I've done it, while I'm in it, I grab the link and I copy and paste it right here. I upload then the actual image. So again, it's there if I want to. So then when it comes to promoting the episode, right, you then are going to be doing certain things each time. It might be sending it to your email list. It might be sharing it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on X, on wherever you want to share it, right? So again, you can then automate all of those posts being created. So I mostly just focus on email, and then this can be custom to what you need, right? So mine mostly for my YouTube one, it's mostly email, and then I can create little clips from that video using, some great AI tools. But in terms of the automated part, I can then click this button, say generate promo, and then it creates an email with AI, with my brand voice, with my style of writing, so it sounds like me, and then it creates a new record in my content system, and it's linked it here. So I now can click inside of this, and I can see I've got some subject line options, and now I can come in here and I can just tweak that email right in here, and then I can obviously get that scheduled into my email autoresponder. But this was basically created for me, and I had very little editing to do because it sounded really good, and it picked out, here's the things that I'm covering. Because I've got my YouTube link in here, it's linked it automatically. So it's all these tiny little things that it just takes off my plate, and I just love it. With my show that I previously did, the automation would also create Pinterest titles and Pinterest descriptions. It would also create a Facebook post that was very like the email. So I had all those things there. And again, I could then just finish things up and then get things scheduled. So having this kind of production view, not only can you do, and there's so many other things that you could automate. So if you want to have AI's help in you doing some research for whether it's SEO, if you want to do the research for your actual topic, you could do that as like a pre-process, if you like. Then you've kind of got your recording, editing, so you can have a section for when you're actually recording it. Then you've kind of got your post-production. My automation will then give me title options that I can then see if I like them or not, or tweak them. It can create folders, add things for me. So this is where things can be really custom to you and how you like to work. Let me just come over to my demo one a second. Also if you think about a podcast, you might have guests, so you might want to have some of your guest information. You can even automate, sending them information ahead of when things are planned or afterwards with, hey, good news, this is just published. Here's a link to the podcast that you could share. You can automate that within Airtable. And again, you've got these nice little one-click buttons that connect to, I use Make, and I have another button where I can click it and it will turn my video into a blog post that's written with AI. So this view, and again, it's very flexible depending on what I'm doing. If I'm not in a creating videos mode and I'm just creating blog posts, you can see here I've got generate blog if there is no video, or generate a blog if there is a video, because that will take the transcript. This one I'll do more upfront work with SEO and writing out the outline, and I'll basically then get it to create a post for me, which is great. So you can see here's kind of my outline of like key points and the headers and things. So this kind of gives me a structure when I'm focusing on blogs. It then links to me my drafted AI written blog post that I can then go and check and open right from here, and then edit it and make sure it sounds like me and add in anything that I need. Then you can see I've got a publishing section. So here's what I need. Here's the headlines, the blog categories, the link, the thumbnail Canva link, the thumbnail, the meta description, the keywords. Like there's all these things that go with it. And then again, promotion of blog. So the thing that's so great about this, even though I've talked about a lot with you today in this video, it's so flexible, it's so customizable, but that's the beauty of it. Rather than you trying to fit yourself into someone else's tool or process that doesn't work, or you're doing so much of this stuff, which you probably are nowadays. People are using AI for everything. You're probably getting it to create all of this stuff already. So you've probably already got prompts that you're using, depending on how often you're making your videos or your podcasts or your blogs. But let's say you're doing it weekly. You imagine how much time you could save if you could either have a simple button for you to click if you want to wait and click it manually, or even it could be when a status is changed to like ready, then the automation can run and create you all this stuff that goes with it. So this is a perfect example of when you're already using AI. Save yourself going through that process with your prompts. We can take your skill if you're now creating Claude skills and things like that, and have the automation create it for you. But it's not just about it writing it for you, because you're already doing that. Now it's a case of put it into your central organized system where everything lives, links it to the episode, links it to everything that you need. So you're not having to go through loads of different chat threads trying to find the one that you want. You can just come into here. And if you still want to do anything manually, like I even added a field for my ChatGPT thread. This is obviously before, now everyone's using Claude. You could even put, if you still want to do things manually, you could even then link that specific chat thread in here as well, if you want to. So there's so much that you can do with this, and Airtable is just the best tool because it's so flexible. And this is why I build people custom content systems. So I kind of take obviously my own lessons and my years of doing this, but taking your workflow, how you do things, how do you like to see your information, how do you like to work? And again, there's different views for different parts of your process that you might want. You might want to connect it to a project management tool if you want to. There is a lot that you can do, but this just saves so much of that brain power and my time. And this is why I just absolutely love it. And I'm so glad that I've created these things, and it's always evolving. There might be something else I go, actually, do you know what, I want to change this now. Or there's another field that I want to be able to see. There's something else that I want to add in. And so it's so easy to just add that in. So you're always keeping that system and that process that just works for you and your business. So that is the full AI content operating system series. 7 videos, 7 different sections, one central system that runs your content, holds everything in one place for you. So you haven't got to hold it all in your head. You haven't got to look across a million different places. Everything that you need is here for how you like to work. And it's great because it's flexible. So it can flex as you grow. If you're on your own, or if you've got team members, if you change things up, it can be customized for you. And so that's why, if you've been kind of watching all week and you've been thinking this looks awesome, and you've been thinking I like that, but I'd maybe do it that way, that's the perfect time to have me build you a custom system for you, so that we can really make sure that it's a system that you enjoy using, it fits you. I don't like just building systems, and I won't want to build something for you knowing that you're not going to use it, it doesn't suit you. That's not what I'm about. So whenever I'm doing my custom builds for people, we make sure we start off by having like an assessment and system design sessions. So we'll make sure that we fit it for how your brain works, that fits your business, that your offers, how everything is structured that you like in your business. And then we'll build everything around what you need. And so that it makes your life easier, it fits how you need, and that you can continue to grow with it too. Alternatively, if you're more of a DIYer, then I do have my sort of foundational content system. It's a workshop and you get my template. It doesn't have all of the automations with the AI. There are some automations included for things like approvals. There are some things in there. If you're more of a DIY, then you can go and grab that. Information for both my done for you and the template is down in the description below. But do make sure that you're subscribed, because there will be some more advanced automations and templates coming. So if you like the repurposing, the one-click repurposing, if you like the podcast and YouTube workflows that go with it, things like that will be coming later on, but right now those are only available as part of my done for you services. But again, make sure that you subscribe, you get on my email list so you can stay close, so that you get notified and I can tell you when new things are ready. So thank you so much for being here, and I would love to answer any questions. So if you've been watching this and thinking this looks awesome, but you want to know how it might work for your business, or how it might do for this or for that, then let me know. Drop your comments below and I will come back and answer them, or feel free to reach out to me privately. Best place probably Instagram, Jenny Stevens Systems. Link to that will be below, and you can come and DM me and we can chat if you need to. But thank you so much for being here, and I will look forward to seeing you very soon.